When I was just 7 years old and my sister was only 3, the world around us began to unravel as my parents' relationship deteriorated rapidly. My father would come home late from work with bloodshot eyes and a sly grin on his face, always accompanied by whispers of infidelity that left me feeling sick to my stomach. One particularly heated argument escalated into violence, with my father throwing plates at my mother in a fit of rage. She barely managed to escape unscathed, but the memory of her terror would haunt me for years to come. Our neighbor, who had heard the commotion from his own home, intervened and separated my parents, but their relationship never truly recovered. My mother tried to divorce my father, but he refused to cooperate, leaving us both in a state of limbo as we waited for him to appear in court. When he finally did show up, it was too late. Our home had already been sold and we were left homeless. We spent the next year living at my aunt's house, feeling like outsiders in her loving family. Despite everything, I clung desperately to the hope that one day things would get better for us all. But when my father was released from prison after serving 2 years for selling drugs, it became clear that he had not learned his lesson. He started selling again and cheating on my mother with the same woman who had caused so much pain in our lives. I spent most of my school days alone, sitting at my desk as everyone else celebrated Father's Day with their own fathers. My father was never there for me, and I couldn't help but feel ashamed of him for what he had done to us. But even as I tried to distance myself from him, the memories of our past continued to haunt me. My sister and I went through so much trauma at such a young age, and it took years for us to begin healing from the wounds that my father's actions had inflicted on us. My mother tried to commit suicide twice while he was subjecting her to his abuse, and I still can't shake the feeling of guilt and responsibility that comes with being a witness to such pain and suffering. Now, as I enter middle school, I find myself struggling to forgive my father for everything he has done. He hasn't even bothered to come to my birthday celebrations or make amends for his past mistakes. And when he did try to break into our house one day, it was a stark reminder of just how dangerous and unpredictable he could be. My father's family is too hard on me to forgive him, but I know that if I don't find a way to let go of my anger and resentment, then I will never truly heal from the trauma that has defined so much of my life. It won't be easy, but I am determined to find peace and closure in the midst of all this pain. As I continued to struggle with my feelings towards my father, I began to realize that forgiveness was not just about letting go of anger or resentment. It was also about finding a way to move forward from the past and make peace with myself and those around me. I started by reaching out to my mother for support, even though she had her own struggles to deal with. We talked together about our feelings and tried to find ways to heal from the trauma that we had both experienced. It wasn't easy, but it was a start. I also began to explore different coping mechanisms for dealing with my emotions, such as journaling or talking to a therapist. I learned how to recognize when my thoughts were spiraling out of control and take steps to ground myself in the present moment. Slowly but surely, I started to feel more in control of my own emotions and less consumed by anger towards my father. As I worked on healing from my past, I also began to see glimpses of hope for a brighter future. My sister and I were able to move on with our lives and pursue new opportunities, even though we still carried the weight of our experiences with us. And despite everything that had happened, I knew that there was still love in my heart, not just for myself, but also for others who had been through similar struggles. In the end, forgiveness is a journey that requires time and effort, but it can lead to a deeper understanding of oneself and one's place in the world. And while I may never fully forgive my father for everything he has done, I know that by finding peace within myself, I am able to move forward with hope and resilience. As I continued on this journey of healing and forgiveness, I also began to explore the concept of compassion, not just towards others who had been through similar struggles, but also towards my father himself. It was hard to imagine feeling empathy for someone who had caused so much pain in my life, but as I delved deeper into understanding his own experiences and motivations, I started to see him in a new light. I learned that he had grown up in an abusive household himself and that this had shaped the person he is today. He struggled with addiction and mental health issues, which made it difficult for him to form healthy relationships or make good decisions. And while his actions were never excusable, I could see that they were rooted in a deeper pain and struggle than I had ever imagined. This newfound understanding of my father's own struggles helped me to let go of some of the anger and resentment that I had been holding onto for so long. It wasn't easy, but it was a step towards healing and forgiveness. And as I continued to work on this process, I found myself becoming more compassionate not just towards my father, but also towards others who were struggling with their own demons. I realized that forgiveness is not about condoning or excusing someone's behavior, it's about finding a way to move forward from the past and find peace in oneself and one's relationships. While I may never fully forgive my father for everything he has done, I know that by practicing compassion and understanding towards him, I am able to heal from the trauma of our shared history and build a brighter future for myself and those around me.